ACL test. Danny,
I wanted to show you this though. This is about dealing with this right here. Because he really palpated it first, and then he went into it.
He cut his leg.
So we've done the ACL, right? The Lockman's test. That everybody's going to be different. You're going to have longer legs, shorter legs, tighter knees, looser knees. So just practice until you'll once you get it, you're like, oh, now I can do it forever. You know, it's like when you just kind of have to have that moment where you feel it and like you have the subtlety of where you're supposed to place your hand and the direction of the force. Okay, and then the varus and valgus tests are pretty simple. Also, I'm gonna have you bend your knee here. Actually, you can lie down. Yeah, you don't have to get okay. So now we're gonna test the meniscus. Okay, so the meniscus, you guys recall where that is? So the meniscus, well, we can palpate it joint line, but the meniscus, right? It's like a C and a O and a C, kind of, and it's on top of the tibia, the tibial plateau. So the tibia comes up like this, right? And then on top of it, there's the meniscus. Cool? So it provides a lot of support for your condyles here, for the bottom part of your femur. Essentially, what we're going to do, or we're going to attempt to do, right? Like our ligament test, we essentially just pull them apart, right? We essentially just try to pull that MCL apart, pull apart the ACL, right? Pull apart that deltoid, pull apart the CF, the ATF. That's what we do with ligaments. For the meniscus or labrums or cartilage, we try to compress and rotate and grind. Cool? And grind. So we're going to feel for, right, my thumb and my middle finger are going to be palpating the medial and lateral joint line, right? We know where joint line is. We know how to get there, right? We spend a lot of time on it. And we're going to put her femur 90 degrees from her body. See that? Body is 0, 90 degrees. So this is going to be stationary. And this hand closest to the body is going to be on the joint line. Now, we're going to do a scooping motion from in. We're going to scoop, and we're going to bend her knee, flex her knee to pretty much as far as she lets us. And then we're going to come out like that. So here and there. And I just kind of grab above her malleolus. I kind of grab, and you have a good hold there. And then there. See that? So this is called Mcmurray's test. Nice catch. Athlete. Only with her thumb. Boom. Yeah? The ball. Oops, sorry. Cool? So this is Mcmurray. So see how the femur's here. I'm physically compressing and rotating this. Yeah? Here and there. So there may be they make sense, some clicking or popping, right? Because if the meniscus is damaged, imagine the meniscus like a thin layer of jello. And if you were to like cut it with a knife, right? At rest with no pressure, it would be fine. It would come together. But as soon as you put pressure on it, it would like separate, right? So imagine you're kind of rubbing your fists on that jello, right? As it's cut, then your femur, the femoral condyles, your fist, might come into there, or it won't track as smoothly as it's coming across it. So they'll feel some instability, they'll feel some catching, some popping, right? Also pain. Yeah, and they'll be able to tell where it's at. So, ooh, nice pop. So with the meniscus, right, you can have a medial or lateral tear. So it can be inside or outside, and they'll be able to differentiate, oh, it feels here, but deep, or outside, but deep. Like I can't touch it, but I know it's in this area. Also, they'll be able to describe if it's more towards the front or the back, right? So you can get a pretty good sense of if it's an anterior medial, posterior medial, anterior lateral, posterior lateral meniscus tear. Cool? So you got pretty good information by this meniscus test with that Mcmurray's. Also, the mechanism of injury for a meniscus is going to be a land and some kind of rotation. Make sense? Like a little jump step, jump stop. ACL will be a hyperextension, and a rotation. Got it? Make sense? What else with the swelling patterns of the other ligaments of the knee versus your meniscus? What's different?
Meniscus is going to take longer, 48
So,
to
yep.
72 hours.
So your meniscus won't swell. You won't see swelling until the next day, maybe even that day after. If there's 48 to 72 hours. The ACL, the PCL, the MCL, and the LCL, they will swell almost immediately. Cool?
Cool.
So another good comprehensive knowledge towards my diagnosis. So we'll work on, right? 90 degrees, palpate medial lateral joint line. You're gonna scoop in and out. Lots. There's the most compression that you can have on the meniscus is when it's in deep knee flexion. Cool? There to there, in and out. Got it? Also, you can do this bounce home test, which relax, 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 and you drop it. See that?
It's messed up.
That'll hurt. I will. No, you can't damage them further. You know what I mean? But
So for the test, can I just say I'm just gonna bounce home?
yeah. So you don't tell them. You just tell them to relax when you do it. And it hyperextends them, and they don't like that, right? I usually don't do it from that high. I usually just do it from right here. I'm not, cause I'm nice. Yeah, the mic drop. It's just called bounce home. And they're like, and they look at you like, I trusted you. If I don't like them, I'll come from higher. It's not you. So Mcmurray's for the meniscus. Also, sorry. If you recall with the ankle, there's the talar tilts, right? Also, there was the anterior drawer where you can come forward from back to front. Remember that? So we have the Lockmans. Also, we have an anterior drawer here with the ACL as well. So you're going to have them in this position. You lightly sit on their foot to stabilize it. You have, right, the tibia has these lateral, like it's really thick up here in the condyles, and then it kind of narrows out, and it's a really nice place for you to put your thenar eminences. Here. And I grab behind, and I come forward. So that's another ACL test you can do. I am not that great at this one, I'm not going to lie, I'm better at my Lockmans. But this is the anterior drawer, but I'm really good at doing the posterior drawer here, which is going to test the PCL. So I can come back. Feel that click? So the PCL is the one that goes posterior, right? Posterior translation, posterior stability. It runs the opposite way. Here. Cool? So that PCL is really good right there. Also, you can rotate. So you can rotate the tibia in or out. Yeah? If this will be called Slocum. S-L-O-C-U-M. Slocum's test. So if you do Slocum's with external rotation of the tibia, and then you go here, you may engage some of that, either the medial capsule, right? You have all those ligaments they're encased in saran wrap or connective tissue, right? The synovial membrane in the joint. So you can stress the medial capsule or the MCL. If you turn them into internal rotation of the tibia, and then you go for it, you're going to be putting more attention on the ACL, yeah, but also the LCL. Cool? Also, when you do the MCL test, if you find that it's positive, right, a lot of these tests are going to be positive if it's looser than the other one. So you always have to compare bilaterally with this one, because they may just be loose in general, but if they have some kind of traumatic event, they say, I did this, and now my knee hurts, check how tight it is, right, and compare both sides. So these tests will be positive for pain if it hurts, but also they're going to be more positive if they're lax or loose. Cool?
Cool.
So let's try those. Let's try Mcmurray's. Relax. Bounce Bell's home. Go anterior drawer, posterior drawer. You can do the Slocums if you want.